Alright guys, so I'm going to attempt to show y'all how to do this, and hopefully we can get everything right. Now the hands on this one are a little offset. I'll show y'all how you can fix that. Ignore the shirt right there, that's bad weight painting on my part. I didn't catch it before I exported it, so I'll have to fix that on the jacket. Yeah, so this one I had to do an offset on the feet. That's why the feet look a little funny, like they're going through the floor. I need to do an offset on the hands as well. We will do that. So let's go ahead and start. So you're going to get your character and you're going to bring him in here into a new ALS project in Unreal Engine 5. You're going to right click inside of your character's folder and go to animation and go to IK rig. You're going to select your character and then you can name it whatever you want to. I'm just going to name it source for now, just to make it clear to you guys. And then in the ALS character assets mannequin skeleton folder, do the same thing. Select the Animan. We're going to call this the target. Again, you can call it whatever you want. So you're going to double click on your target, and this is what we're going to do. We may need the root. I had mixed experiences with the root. Adding the root seems to offset the character along the z-axis, so I'm going to skip that one. But what you will need to do is right click on the pelvis and set retarget root, and that will set it as the retarget root. And then we will highlight spine 1, 2, and 3, or however many spine bones you have, but highlight all of them and right click a new retarget chain from selected bones. I'm going to leave mine as spine 0_01 because my character's spines and bones follow the same convention. If you need to, you can rename this to be spine. I'm going to do the clavicles separately. And then I'm going to select the upper arm, and I'm going to select lower arm and hand L. And we're going to do this. I'm going to cut upper out of it and just have arm L. Then I'm going to select and highlight all the fingers. And I'm going to retarget, and I'm just going to say OK, 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 OK. Then I'm going to do one separately for the lower arm twist and the upper arm twist. And I already did one for the right clavicle, yes, okay. I probably should have waited to do that, but that's okay. It'll just be organized differently. The order of these don't matter, the names do. So that's going to be arm R. Again, select all my fingers. Do the twists separately. If you have more than one twist, or if you don't have twists at all, then just like on your main character, then just ignore that. We'll get to that, so just don't worry about that for now. Select the neck and the head, and you could just leave that as neck 1. Thigh, calf L, and foot L. And some people were doing ball, but I had mixed results doing that. So I'm just going to leave that name to thigh L. You can rename it it's probably best that you do rename it. But to speed this up, I'm not going to rename these because my character again follows the same naming convention. Alright, so we are going to do the IK foot root as its own. All these IK bones are going to be done, but as their own. They're not going to like be chained, they're just going to be singles. Ignore the virtual bones. You could technically, and I'll have to experiment with this because it might be best that we do retarget the virtual bones, because the character does use virtual bones. So okay, so now that we have all that done, we can come here and open up the source of for our character. We're going to set retarget root for him. I'm going to select his spines, his head and his neck. I'm going to ignore his facial bones. His clavicle. Oops. I need to rename that to arm L. That just saves us from having to manually tell it, say, hey, you know, this one goes here. I'm not 100% sure of the correct naming convention for this one, but let's see. Where's the twist on this one? Upper arm and lower arm twist. That's forearm. So that's lower arm twist. Oh, we don't have a forearm twist. Okay. On the other one, so we don't need to retarget that one. Okay, so actually let me go ahead and do these first. Not that it really matters, but and I'm not sure if it would be best for my character, since this one is a child of this one, if maybe I should be chaining these two together. We can try that. It might not hurt anything. Clavicle. Arm R. And make sure you're not selecting the hand with this, because it'll try to chain the hand to pinky 3. I want to do the calf twist 1L and the thigh twist 1L, and I'm not going to worry about those CC base ones. We're going to do these all separately. Okay. Now with that out of the way, we need to set up our solvers. So we're going to go back to the target and add a new solver, full body IK. We're going to add a solver, full body IK to the other one as well. I'm going to drag this one out and I'm going to set it beside them. So we can just go through here and do these together. So missing root bone, it needs the root bone. This is the root bone. So you're going to right click on it and set root bone on selected solver. Same with this one. We need to go up here and do the same thing. Set root bone on selected solver. Now I'm going to select all my spines. I'm going to right click and add settings to selected bones. And you could just set the rotation stiffness to 1 on these. And I think I had mentioned before that this is similar to how constraints work. So I got this from another guy. I might explore this more later so that I can make sure that I'm doing everything properly. There will probably be a follow-up video to this with better settings, but I wanted to get this out there. I've had a busy day and I've been all over the place today. I haven't had time to really work on this, so I started on this late. So we're going to add settings to the clavicle L. And on this one, I think we're just going to set the rotation stiffness on those as well. For the lower arm, I'm not sure we actually need that for the lower arm. For now, we're just going to do it like this. We can come back to it later and add and change things if we need to. So it's not really a big deal if you get it wrong the first time. Actually, I did these wrong. Sorry about that. So these spines, I think I had originally set the rotation stiffness to 0.5, and I don't know why these are all, I must not set those properly. Oh, it's because I tried to set them all at once. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't do that apparently. Maybe they'll add that later in the future. I just assumed that you could. I do apologize for that. These need to be around 0.5, but you can set them yourself. And let me go ahead and let's go ahead and right click on the hand and do new IK goal on the hand. So I'll go ahead and show you kind of what this is doing. Okay, well, we might want to set it on the other hand as well now. So let's go ahead and set a new IK solver on that one as well. Let's see. New IK goal. I don't know why I said solver. New IK goal. And so basically, if you get this now, it still won't do it because we need to put it on the feet. This keeps everything anchored properly. And I'm wondering too if it might make sense to put one on the pelvis, but until I've further explored this, it's probably best just to put them on the feet. Now, one guy put them on the balls of the feet, and I had bad results from doing that, so I don't recommend it. But you may end up needing to for your character. Now, you see this, basically what you're, I guess, wanting to do is get this to be as straight as possible. So you can kind of tweak these values each on an individual basis until you get something that's somewhat straight. And that one seemed to, yeah, okay. So that's probably about as good as you're going to get it on those. Now, I guess ideally you might want to put one on your spine too. If we put it, or on the pelvis. If we put one on the pelvis, we could probably kind of tweak that as well. So we can go ahead and do this too on him. And just use your mouse, scroll back on your mouse wheel to slow it down. So I'm going to go ahead and add a setting on the pelvis as well. And then that's probably about right. Okay. So you can move your character back, your character's hand back wherever you want. It don't really matter now. Or you could just press this reset button to the default value. That'll put it back at its default location. Okay, so let's see, what else do we need? So I'm not doing the lower arms. You can do the lower arms if you want. If you get any twisting, this will prevent it from twisting. So if you do an add setting, for example, let me just show you, and you say use preferred angles, and you tweak this value or that value, and you'll have to experiment with those. That's X, Y, and Z. So X is rotating like, well, you can't see my hand, but around this way, and then Y would be rotating around this way, and then Z would be rotating around, like if he was spinning left or right clockwise, then that's the orientation that would be. So anyway, let's go down to the thigh, and we'll add one to the thigh and the calf. Oops. Okay, so what we want to do is grab this solver here. We want to just bend his leg, and then you can go to the thigh and say use preferred angle, 90 degrees. So that's negative 90 degrees. Now you know you have it right. You see, and that will it'll basically, I believe it sets a limit. Let's see. Yeah, let's test that out. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, so you see that's you could probably do negative 45 too if you wanted to be more. What you're wanting to do is try to control like how much it can bend during the movements of the IK. So see, a negative value I don't think is what you would want on that. So we'll do it like that. Negative 90 and 90. And then you can always reset this back to where it was. And then over here, just so we can be sure that this one isn't oriented differently, you might do this and then do the same thing here. Okay, if it doesn't bend backwards, then you know you got it right. Oh, also you have to see this in action at all, you have to set use preferred angles or it won't have any effect on it. And actually, let me make sure, no, sure it wasn't, was I? I don't know, I thought I had set that one. Okay, but I set them for those, that's the right one. Okay, I just forgot to set it for the left. And just to make sure these aren't oriented like in different directions. Okay, yeah, that seems right. Okay. Alright, now with all of that out of the way, you can save it. Make sure you're always saving things because this is still a little bit unstable. So we'll set the arm L to hand L go, and the arm R to hand R go, and then the thigh L to foot L go, and thigh R to foot R go. Same over here, hand L go, hand R go, foot L go, and foot R go. Now I'll save them again, and we should be good for the most part. If we have any issues, we can come back in here and do some stuff. So let's right click. I'm going to do it in the characters folder, that way I can get to it easily, because that folder isn't like as compartmentalized as the ALS one. So let's make an IK retargeter. We'll choose the source. You know what? I named those incorrectly. I'm going to delete this. This is the target. And this other one is the source. So let's right click and make an IK retargeter and choose the source. Oh, well, yeah, mannequin skeleton. Let's go ahead and save all. Let's see. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't screw that up. So I'm going to call this from ALS to CCU3. And now I'm going to choose my target. I'm just going to select the auto map just in case something didn't get... If any of these say none, then your naming convention was wrong and it couldn't figure it out. You can choose it manually, or you can go back into your IK rig and rename it. Well, you can't actually rename these. You'll have to remake them. It won't let you rename them for some reason, but okay. So as you can see, you want to check this too. Go into right and make sure that they're basically level with each other. This one seems a little bit higher, but we can worry about that if it becomes an issue. If you do need to, if yours looks like, if yours is way up in the air, then you might have done something incorrectly. Now, I try to follow one where they did a root, where you created a root that just pointed to the spine on each of them. And that actually offset my character quite a bit and made him like hover in the air. And so I don't recommend that. That's why I just chose to do it without it. So okay, over in here we're going to go ahead and go into perspective mode, and we are going to test out these. Looks fairly good so far, but let's test this out with some more. Now you see his legs are a little bit more spread out, I think, than his. His are a little bit more over exaggerated. Also his feet, well, I guess his feet are about turned at the right angle. Yeah, okay. It looked like they weren't, but his legs are a little bit too far spread apart. What you could do is you could go into select your leg, thigh L and thigh R in my case, and you can try using globally scaled under the FK adjustments and see if that helps, and it may not. And you can also use this blend to source because we set up the IK rig, and you can choose to only blend to source in one on one or two or all three axes. You see, that seems to correct it a little bit better, I think. But we need to go into perspective and right to make sure that those feet aren't too far offset. Now his toes just a little bit forward down, and you can make adjustments to these. Now that's the left leg. So if you see, I can make adjustments to these, but I really don't want to right now until I know for sure exactly like what we're having issues with. Now his arm, I guess his arm is about right. Okay. So let's come back over here and we will choose the M4A1 sweep. And I'll just drag this along the timeline. And you can see his hands are closer together than his hands are. I'm gonna slow this down too, so we can see it a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is come back over here to chain mapping, and I'm not sure about these right now, but I do know we can adjust these. Like that. And that seems to be a little bit better. It's still off though, isn't it? We're gonna have to see what it looks like in game, and we can adjust it from there. I'm just gonna set this back to 1. You can also do a static offset, but I'm not sure I want to mess with that really right now. Alright, so we'll save it. I'm going to come into here. I'm going to make an animation blueprint for my investigator skeleton. Now I'm going to open this, and off of this I'm going to say retarget pose for mesh. Now we need something to plug into here, the source mesh component. So off of the event graph, we'll right click and do an initialize animation. And cast, and get the try get pawn owner and cast to character. That's a generic character class. So anything that derives from the character will work with this. And off of here we're going to get the mesh. Since every character class has a mesh, we can get this mesh and it'll return that mesh. That means your source mesh is going to have to be assigned to the default mesh, and then you're going to have to create another skeleton mesh and assign him to that mesh. So let's see. Let's just promote this to variable, and we'll say source mesh. Compile, save it, drag the source mesh onto this node and it'll automatically connect it. And then it's given us a warning. That's because we need to choose our IK retargeter asset. So there should be only one, unless you've made more than one. That should pretty much be it. You should have like direct control over the stuff inside of here too, like these blend to source and static offsets and stuff like that. So if you needed to, you could probably create like bindings and stuff, or let's see, hand IK retargeter too. Okay, I haven't messed with that one. There is a node that allows you to do this but expose these things, and I might just be thinking of the IK rig itself. So anyway, back over here, we are going to go to the Advanced Locomotion V4, go to Blueprints, go to Character Logic. You can duplicate this or you can do it on this, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just going to call this CC3 ALS Character BP, and then I will drag that one out into the scene, and I will open it up, and then I will disconnect the coloring system from mine. You don't have to disconnect it from yours. Go to the construction script and just disable this by right clicking on this node, like right here, and break all pin links. But don't do it on the construction. Don't disconnect the construction script, just disconnect all of this stuff next to it. You can delete it too if you want. So save it, compile. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to use this body mesh right here for our investigator. So drop down the menu and select your investigator or your character, whichever. And then under here, we're going to select AnimBP CC3 for me, or you can just find it inside of your folders, select it, and then press the back button. Either way, it's up to you. Now you're going to compile, save it. You can also disconnect this as well, since you won't be needing that. Oh, and there's something else too. One second, sorry about that. So what you need to do is go under Mesh, and you need to scroll down. You can search for it, but it's visible. You just want to check visible, or you could leave it visible and then just say hidden in game. Also, I wanted to point out something else too, is that if you're using this on a non-ALS character, or you're trying to get it to work on a non-ALS character, if you go under optimizations, you'll want to change this to always tick pose and refresh bones, as it is on the ALS or character BP. Normally, though I think by default it's just set to always tick pose, but you want it to be always tick pose and refresh bones. So I just thought I'd point that out. It's under optimization. So now with that all done and out of the way, hopefully if nothing went wrong, it should work. So select this character right here, go to details and type in possess, and then disable auto possess player on this one. Select your other one and then select player 0 right here. And it looks like the feet are sitting properly. And now this method is only going to get better as we understand it more. Now it may not be 100% flawless. Here, as you can see, the left hand seems to be off, but the right hand actually seems to be dead on. Okay, so let's 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. So let me show you how we can tweak that, and hopefully this will fix it. So come over here to our IK retargeter, and it was the left hand. The left hand needs to come in. Okay. So I'm a little worried about messing. I'm not real sure how good using a static value is going to be. Let's just try -4, or let's just try -5, and let's just see if that screws stuff up. Okay, that's a little bit better. I think I might need to revisit this to fix, I think, the IK hand retargeter. So I think we're going to need to do something with the IK hand. But yeah, so obviously my method here does need some fixes, but we are one step closer to our goal. So be waiting for another video, and I'm sorry it took me so long to make this, but I've been really busy today. So yeah, I'll get this out to you guys, and please try not to be too critical. It does need some work, but I just started using this new retargeting system, so it's gonna take a minute for me to really wrap my head around all the little things like this with that we need to fix with it. Alright guys, I hope you liked this, and I will see you in the next video.